Coast AM, blasting out of the Mojave Desert like a Scirocco, blazing across the land, into your town, into your home, slamming into your radio like a supercharged nanoparticle of unobtainium. Greetings from the boldest, bawdiest, most outrageous city in the world, the planetary capital of sun, fun, sin, sex, and secrets. My not-so-humble hometown, Las Vegas, Nevada. My name is George Knapp, your occasional host, designated driver of the airwaves, and moderator of tonight's upcoming cacophony of conversation. Glad to be back with you once again. You know, maybe we don't like to admit it, but we have all read an issue or two of the tabloids. You know the headlines. Girl gives birth to 52 UFO babies. Hillary Clinton having an affair with George W. Bush. The adventures of the incredible wrestling cheese, stuff like that in the National Enquirer, the Weekly World News, and other publications. Stories about ghosts and goblins and weird events, celebrity scandals, political scuttlebutt. Stories of questionable veracity, but which can't help but catch our eye as we stand there at the grocery store checkout line. Haven't you wondered about where they come up with this stuff? Do they simply make it all up? And if so, how do they get away with it? Well, it might be easy to make fun of the tabloids, you know, I'm a journalist. I've been a journalist for 30 years or so. I think it gets tougher and tougher to tell them apart from mainstream media, which cover the same sort of sleaze and wackiness from, things like the water skiing squirrels to the sex lives of rock stars. This week I've been reading an absolutely riveting book that provides an insider's view of the tabloid world. It's called Tabloid Man and the Baffling Chair of Death, which, sounds like a perfect tabloid-style title. It's written by a 30-year veteran of the tabloids, Paul Bannister. It is great fun, and I would think of great interest to coast-to-coast listeners. It's many of the stories and issues we like to talk about here on this program may have started out as tabloid stories, not necessarily make-believe, though. The tabloids were, at one time or another, and it may be hard to believe this now, but at one time or another, they were relatively credible sources of information on, for example, the UFO topic. The Enquirer wrote some pretty good UFO stories years ago that turned out to be true, that years later were picked up by mainstream news sources. These days, a lot of people suspect that the tabloids were sort of transformed or morphed into a propaganda arm of the CIA or other intelligence agencies to help debunk paranormal topics by making them seem so ridiculous that other media would not want to cover them. They wouldn't want to touch anything that had appeared first in the Enquirer because they'd be laughed at by their media brethren. We'll get into all that tonight, starting less than an hour from now with my guest, Paul Bannister, and I'm really looking forward to this interview. Before that, though, we'll talk about some news stories of the day, then open up the phone lines in a couple of minutes to see what's on your mind tonight. To all our listeners in the southeast part of the country, I really hope you're still standing out there and still have a roof over your heads. As CNN is reporting this evening, powerful storms that have ripped across the southeast killed as many as 45 people over the past 3 days, according to the National Weather Service and reports from several states. A CNN meteorologist called the storms epic. Among the worst-hit places was Bertie County, North Carolina. More than 50 people were taken to hospitals in Greenville, and between 50 and 70 homes were destroyed. The death toll across 6 states includes 9 in other parts of North Carolina, 4 in Virginia, 7 in Alabama, 2 in Oklahoma, 7 in Arkansas, and 1 in Mississippi. The Federal Storm Prediction Center said it received reports of at least, and this is an astonishing number, at least 230 tornadoes across the region during the past 3 days, though some of those reports were likely sightings of the same twisters. Residents of Texas grappling with their own disaster tonight, wildfires. The report from the AP out of Austin says strong winds and dry conditions presented more challenges Sunday for firefighters battling a spate of wildfires threatening communities across Texas, including a blaze in Austin that destroyed several homes and prompted an aerial water attack in the capital city. The wildfires that have ravaged more than 1,000 square miles of mostly rural terrain in the last week prompted Governor Rick Perry to ask President Obama to issue a disaster declaration that would allow affected areas to receive federal help. People in these states might have more on their mind than taxes, but don't forget tomorrow, that is Monday, April 18th, is the deadline for filing your taxes. CNNMoney.com is reporting that nearly half of U.S. households end up owing no federal income tax when all is said and done. Maybe that story should read nearly half won't owe additional taxes, that is, mostly because you probably already paid in the form of paycheck deductions. One other not-so-cheery economic note, with the summer driving season just around the corner, look at what's happening with gas prices. With the average price of regular gasoline now hovering near $3.80 a gallon nationally, prices at the pump are nearly $1 higher than they were a year ago. For the average American who drives about 15,000 miles a year and uses roughly 750 gallons of gas annually, that dollar increase per gallon eats about a $750 hole in the household budget per car. We've talked about the prospects for our energy future many times on Coast to Coast, and I know there is a body of evidence which suggests we can drill our way out of the